So what do you do if you are targeted or become a victim? Trust your instincts. Try to remain calm and near other people. If you think you're being followed, take an immediate action to break the contact. Cross the road confidently and keep moving to a busier public area, shop, restaurant, hotel, or police station. If you are on a bus or train and you feel uneasy, move to another seat or carriage closer to the driver or guard. If you're in a taxi, do not give the driver your personal details. If you feel threatened, ask the driver to pull over in a busy area and get out. If the taxi driver is not stopping or refuses to, attract members of the public by shouting out of the window, use an alarm, or call the police. If you become a victim of robbery, do not attempt to run, as they may have accomplices. Do not attempt to resist and follow their instructions. Do not complicate the situation by challenging the robber or asking them questions or pleading with them. This delay of escape might make them more agitated. Do not mention the police, as it might be interpreted as a threat, which may be met with violence. As soon as possible after the robbery, contact the police. Try to remember details of the person, clothes, body features, etc. In summary, plan ahead. Don't underestimate the risk to yourself, and don't make yourself a target. Look confident and trust your instincts. Now that we have looked at risk assessing situations when it comes to your personal safety and security, it's time to look at the broader picture of safety. For example, let's talk about transportation. Some of the coolest experiences while traveling abroad is the transportation itself. It's so unique depending on the country you're traveling to. However, it is still important to understand the risk associated with transportation. Some of the craziest driving was when I was in India. They actually have cars with no side view mirrors. You wonder as a passenger how you are going to move in the thousands of cars like a herd of cattle, and yet it's like a slow dance, and everyone moves in sync with another, separated only by inches, and yet no one hits each other. It is amazing. We're going to talk about public versus private transportation. There are a variety of options when it comes to transportation. Everything from hired cars, buses, tuk-tuks, or public buses known as chicken buses in some places, or collectivos, and everything in between. Follow your instinct on what you feel most comfortable with, and also be open to new experiences. Regarding the cost of transportation, you may be able to barter and throw out a counteroffer if it is a private driver. Other times the rates may be fixed depending on if it is a legitimate taxi or Uber, or if you're buying tickets at a bus or train station. As a note, it's always good to know where you're located, whether or not you're in a city or the countryside. Download Google Maps if you have a chance when you're in Wi-Fi, just in case you don't have service. You may also want to consider having a map of the local area you're in. There are a couple things to note with public transportation. You may be taking a bus either through the day or the night, or you may be on multiple buses. You might also be on a train or a boat. There are some important things you want to know when on public transportation. First thing, regarding bus transportation, if your luggage is going under the bus, try to sit on the same side of the bus that your luggage is on, especially if the bus makes frequent stops. You want to make sure your luggage doesn't leave the bus while you're still on it. If you have a smaller bag that is riding with you, do not put it up above you. Either sit with it on your lap and have your arms through the straps in case you fall asleep, or if you set it on the ground by your feet, put your legs through the straps and keep the zippers as non-visible as you can. Once again, also if you fall asleep. Sometimes on longer rides, the bus will make pit stops for you to use the bathroom or have a bite to eat. I highly suggest taking your belongings with you when you exit the bus. As an example, I was traveling in Malaysia and Singapore with a friend, and we were on a bus trip. We got off to go to the bathroom, and she left her iPad on the seat. When we got back to the bus, it had disappeared. We asked the bus driver to ask, and of course no one would confess. It was a situation that anyone could have found themselves in and could have been easily avoided. The moral here is to think about the little things as you move through your trip. Depending on how long the bus ride is and where you are going, it may not be a bad idea to have motion sickness tabs with you. Drivers in other countries tend to drive a bit differently than here in the States, and you may be going through the mountains and valleys a lot. Here are some tips about private transportation. Make sure the company is reputable. Check to see if there are taxis in the country you're going to and what they look like, so you don't get into a fraudulent car. Make sure you use a licensed taxi. You may have the hostel or hotel owner book one for you. It's not a bad idea to have that phone with you also while you're in the vehicle. If you're taking an Uber, ask the driver's name of who they are and who they're picking up before you give your name out and get into the car. Make sure your luggage goes into the vehicle first and gets closed in the trunk inside before you get in the vehicle. Don't assume that it's in there when you get in. I have actually seen a bag getting taken out of a trunk in Peru while sorting out transportation, and it was never to be seen again. For both public and private transportation, it's important to look at the following. Check the condition of the vehicle. Look at the outside of the vehicle. Do the tires look good? Does the vehicle look to be in good condition? How far are you traveling with this vehicle? Look at the inside of the vehicle. Are there any seatbelts? Is the condition of the vehicle up to your standards? And look at the driver. Do they look to be coherent and sober? For longer rides, is there a second driver joining them to take over? Make sure you feel comfortable and trust your gut and your instinct. If you feel like it's unsafe, pass and get another vehicle. Your safety is key. Here are some other top tips to be aware of. If you are in a crowded bus station or heavily trafficked area, station yourself in the corner or at a wall if you are waiting. This helps prevent people from coming up and pickpocketing you or taking your bag without your knowledge. Many pickpockets who are good will work in teams. While one person comes and makes small talk to distract you, another will take your personal items. Don't flash your items on the bus or in the bus station. I made a mistake one day while in Costa Rica traveling on public transport. Mind you, I never thought this would happen to me. I had two phones with me, the team phone and my personal phone, and I had pulled both out of my pocket to look at them. When the bus stopped to let us out, I was pinned by two people. They obviously knew each other. My thoughts were, get off this bus. But then what happened is they were able to slip into my cargo pocket on one side of my pants and take my phone out without me knowing because I was not in my right mind. I didn't even realize what was happening until I was off the bus and able to focus on my belongings. It was a really good learning experience. Also, decide on the appropriate time of day for traveling. Some countries, it is not advised to travel at night because it is more dangerous.